hell.
What are you laughing at?
Because all of a sudden I got nervous.
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
And then it made me giggle.
Episode 659.
I don't know what happened.
This is when Sarah, I don't know, somehow turns
Lost
into
it.
someone else.
Right. I was like, I don't know what happened. Like, I got nervous all of a sudden, like we've never done this 1 million times. And like, I don't have 1,000 funny things to talk or interesting things to talk to you about today.
Wow, you all of a sudden got stage fright. I love it.
I did. I don't know what, maybe it was because we were just talking about your comedy show. And I was
Yeah.
imagining like doing that, which sounds just like so hard. And
It's terrible. It really
Man.
is. Why would anyone do that? It's so stupid.
is it like a rush afterwards?
Yeah, afterwards.
Okay. That's
Well,
it
I
then.
guess unless you bomb. Like, that's probably not a rush. I've never
You're not gonna
totally bombed. I mean,
Impossible.
sometimes it's better than others, but can you imagine if it were
Impossible.
really like crickets? That would be so
No.
great.
No. That would probably make me laugh more.
Right, like it would go all the way around to
Yeah,
being
full
really funny
circle.
again.
Yes. This
God.
happened. This is funny that we were even talking about this because I had a moment last night where I actually for a few nights this week or maybe like this month where right before I go to bed, I get the giggles hysterically. Like I can't. What the fuck did I think was so?
I had that recently.
Oh, this was it. Eli, I've been coughing a lot lately, probably just because it's fall and allergies and everything like that. And Eli's like, man, you've been coughing a lot lately. And then he had his hand on my back, and my back was really itchy. And I'm like, oh, I gotta move. I'm really itchy. He goes, itchiness is one of the signs of COVID. What? Is this like
Is this one of his dumb
and
jokes?
I believed him for
I
like
hate when he
a
does
while,
this.
and then I burst into laughter like this was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and could not stop laughing. And then was laughing at when I was thinking about it.
There's
He's like,
nothing
"What?"
beher than when you get the giggles. Like the
Like
true,
me?
yes, you personally.
Oh, I can't.
Like you're,
It was so good.
that is fun.
This in wondering like why the fuck am I laughing so much like right before bed? I had to Google it. I had to, like learn, is this a thing?
Okay.
Turns out it is.
Is it like
laughing,
the laughing at a funeral or something? Where it's like, you're not supposed
it's
to?
almost from, well, I mean, sort of. I think that at that point it starts making it funnier and then it just builds on. But what happens in that may, I don't know, lead to like the initial burst of laughter is a little bit of like euphoria. Your brain is basically high if it's in the early stages of sleep deprivation. It doesn't last for very long, but when you're tired and you stay up just a little teeny tiny bit, your brain does this like surge. And it's also, they said in the article, I can't remember all the details, but it's similar to what keeps a newborn awake to feed. It's like a little bit of euphoria, a little bit of like
Your
just
second wind, kind of.
yeah, you got to stay up because you got to like be
Make
into
sure
this
your
or
belly's
whatever.
full. That is so
And-
cute.
And so when you get that little, there's like a small window of like drugs that are released in
That's
the brain
fun.
where you really do think everything is funny. So now I'm like dead set on capitalizing on this moment and looking at the giggles every night.
Here's
Feels
what
like
I
a
want to
good
know,
ab
though,
workout.
about people like you, because I get so irritated about COVID stuff still.
Oh yeah.
I want to know why people like you will have a cough and then they just won't take a test.
I did, and I do.
Why am I judging
Thanks.
you? I guess I assumed you hadn't because he was like, like kind of like this
Right.
could be COVID,
Right.
as if you didn't know.
No, like I have enough. We ordered ours. I like being more,
Okay, you're on it.
And in the beginning, I was taking them all the time, and then I had to
Yeah,
it's okay,
yeah,
Sarah,
that's true. You do have to kind of meet in the middle because
I'm like, okay, you're being crazy. So
I get irritated because I hear people talking like, well, it's just here to stay and we just have to live with that. And I'm like, listen, Diane, we don't have to. I have not had it and I do not want it.
That is great. I am going to go in for my booster soon.
Get it.
And I have been prolonging this because I get so sick afterwards.
It was good this time. The bivalent or whatever they call it for the most recent version.
Okay.
I mean,
well,
it was
because man, oh man, did it! It was the sickest I've ever felt.
No, it was just sore on my arm for just a few hours. Not
that was what Eli said too. He got it, and he was great. And okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I think you'll be okay.
Doing it this weekend. I have time.
Yeah,
this is great. Yeah,
I was thinking, Sarah. Speaking of COVID, about how how we're in this time warp where like it's going on 3 years now that we've lived with this thing.
Yes.
Yet when I think about when it all began in terms of our show,
it was yesterday, you mean?
Yeah, like I feel like most of our episodes came before, and then we've done just like a very little after COVID, but it's like almost split in half, pre and post, and that blows my mind because we've been doing this 7 years.
Go back and listen to the episodes from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It sounds like, wow, this is so far away from when COVID hits.
Yes.
When I listen to the first few episodes.
Right. But it really is. It's like split in half. It's like 4 years and then 3 years. I just can't get over that. Because it's as if time is standing still.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I hate.
We're in, it's totally weird. Mm-hmm. I think because... so much of our life is marked by milestones and marked by, and when a lot of those things got put on hold, weddings got postponed and, holiday celebrations that kind of mark things in your mind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, vacations.
You're right.
That create, like if you were to make a timeline for your own life and like the big things that stand out, it would start to get a little sparse.
That's for sure, especially for me. I barely leave my house.
Right.
And it's...
I mean, somehow mine sped up.
Yours got more exciting during COVID.
Like, move.
Yeah, you're always like that, though. It's like...
I'm ready to be not like that.
Yeah, you need a breather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hope that's coming soon. I really love Eli. I hope he feels that.
Then I got this not stupid, wonderful, amazing, best ever boyfriend who then I fell in love with, and then now I have to move into his house because I can't be without him. Ugh.
Yeah,
so
he
annoying.
ruined everything.
Right.
No.
Tell him.
I hope he feels the love because
he does.
He's
he feels
great.
I know.
I hope I'm not wrong about him.
We won't be.
I have high hopes.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'll tell you what else is
great.
Don't
mess it up. What's great?
Liquid IV, baby.
Absolutely. Keep me hydrated up here at Mile High City.
Right. What is the scoop on that? When you're at high elevation, like how much more do you have to do?
Yeah, like so much more. If you drink 2 liters a day, you got to drink 3. It's like 1/3 more
Pete's
water.
sake.
You urinate more when you're at elevation. The air is drier, and so it just like sucks more moisture and water out of your freaking body. So yeah, you got to hydrate more.
That sounds like a lot of work, but luckily you have Liquid IV, which 2 to 3 times is what they say that it hydrates you faster than regular old water. And you can take the little packets in your purse or on a flight or to the gym or whatever, and then just dump it into your water. And they have amazing flavors, tropical punch, watermelon, strawberry, all this, whatever your heart desires. And get that hydration. I'll have to bring some to Chicago so we can, not worry about our wine consumption as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we got to rehydrate after we dehydrate.
Yeah. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco or get 15% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code CANDY at checkout. That's 15% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code CANDY at liquidiv.com.
Mm-hmm.
All righty, ma'am. What are you going to teach me today? Or what are you going to talk about? What's on your mind?
What do I want to talk about? This made me giggle. Do you think that old people have a smell?
Yes, I do. But I don't think it's because they're old. I think it's because they stopped bathing.
Okay. I love Susie's got a theory.
I don't know. Do you think they have a smell?
I absolutely do think they have a smell. I think any time you take a child who's in that great age where they just have absolutely no filter, and you take them into a like old person's home, they're like, ew, it smells funny in here.
Right. Yeah. It's like medicinal, but also dirty.
Oh, interesting. Yes, it's like described as a greasy and grassy.
Oh my God. It's so gross.
But this is interesting because it's not always. So there was a study that was done, and we're going to dive in. We're actually going to talk about old people smell right now.
I'm into it.
Okay. There was a study that was, I'm doing this out of order, but here we go. There was a study that was done on whether people, like how they felt about the smells. And so they took shirts of people who were older and people who were younger. And even though they were able, the people who were smelling the shirts were able to classify them as different, they weren't classified as more disgusting.
That's interesting.
They were not as strong. They said they weren't as intense of a smell, believe it or not.
What wasn't?
The old people smell.
It was milder.
More, yes.
Than young people.
Yes.
Huh.
So,
Okay.
but let's talk about what the heck
also say
old people
that
smell even is.
You would agree that it's also like kind of musty.
Yeah, so that's the one when it starts turning into like, and if anybody's like wondering the Goodwill also has this smell.
Well, we've talked about that on this.
We?
Yes, we determined they did a study to determine what is that smell, and it's
what is it?
human.
Oh.
Like all of our disgusting skin flakes and stuff. Yeah.
This is so great.
Yeah.
Okay. This is why the old people smell. It's so mysterious. Yeah, we're learning a little bit about what it is. So they were able to put the researchers who were like looking at this took sweat from people of different ages and took the sweat out of the clothes and then put it into one of those mass spectrometers that spins it and like says what the different particles are and everything.
Yeah.
And they found that everything was the same except for two different particles, like two different, like, I don't know, substances or what that they had to identify. But the crazy thing that made them really scratch their head is that the thing that the old people sweat had that was different is not a substance that's actually created
It's
by
not like a
our
hormone
skin
or something.
at any age. No, what it is what happens to the lipids, the fats in our body when it reacts with the air.
What?
And it's like the result of, like, when old people sweat, they produce it's called an aldehyde. I'm going to spell it because there's so many N's in this word. Nonenal.
Okay.
Nonenal.
Okay.
Nonenal. I don't know how to say that. It's an aldehyde, which was found on shirts only of people 40 age or older.
Oh my God. I have it.
We don't sweat that thing to 2N is what I'm going to call it. It's a word I can't pronounce. We don't sweat that at any age. What happens is that older people's skin release this unsaturated fatty acid, which then turns into that stuff, this 2N whatever stuff, when it becomes exposed to air and breaks down.
That is sick.
So old people smell is fatty acids, like that the human sweats that then the air. Yes, unsaturated fatty acids. Omega-7.
I just cannot believe it.
If you were to take a human and like wring it out, you could make freaking like oil out of it.
God.
And that reacting with the air is old people smell.
Wow. Okay. Also, something to consider. I mean, and this is not their fault or anything, but some of them do suffer from incontinence. And
that's a very different smell.
Yes, but that would add an aroma, which, I don't know, mixed with the fatty acid, I'm sure isn't like great. And then, like I said at the beginning, I think that they get a little bit sick of. My mom always used the phrase, life is so daily. And what she means is like every day you got to brush your teeth. You got to do this stuff. And I think by the fucking time they're like 80, they are sick of it. And they stop maybe some of those little cleaning processes.
Yeah. Yeah, that may be separate. I think there's elderly smell, and then there's old people smell.
So 40 and up, like me, are old, and then elderly is like what, 70 plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to say there's a little more body odor and secretions.
Right, from other factors.
From other things.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
So do you notice this on people, say, between, 40 and 60? Well,
there was a 2012 study at the Monell Chemical Senses Center that found people could distinguish between body odors of people over 75 and under 55, but not between those in their 20s and ages 45 to 55.
Well, that's real specific.
That you can distinguish if it's like, okay, these people are under 55, this is over 75, but we couldn't tell about people in their 20s if they compared the shirts of 20s and 40s. They're not different enough.
Well, because you know how when you smell like prepubescent boys, you always go, you smell like to Lincoln, you'll be like, you smell like a boy.
Yes, there's a very specific sour smell that all little boys' heads smell like. It's so weird.
And it is gross, but like I can see what you said about how like all the smells are equally good and bad, like repulsive or not. But they're different. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're different. And so the thing that is the real head scratcher that we really don't know about is why this is. Why do our fatty, why does
that's what I want to know.
omega-7 fatty secretions change when we're older? And so in the article, it was talking about people who are, what did they call them? It's like basically like they take Darwinism to an extreme. They say everything is based on, it was called like omni-Darwinism, Darwinists or something like that. And it's like every single thing is for an evolutionary or like sexual reproductive benefit, which, a lot of stuff is.
Yeah.
So they were saying that maybe this signaled in a way that people were past their reproductive age.
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, don't. And we have to like take everything into like, take modern living out of like we've evolved faster in buildings and everything like that. Technology and all that has evolved faster than our bodies have, and that like evolution I think could keep up with. So according to I think our body, we talked about this with stress hormones and all that stuff. We still think that we're being chased by a lion.
Yeah.
When we are sitting in traffic. So, it's the same in our brain. We haven't evolved to be like, oh, no, there's no threat and no danger here, and, like, not have that reaction. So maybe it is one of those kind of, like,
you know how we talked on this show one time about people that can see, like, a gazillion more colors than most?
Yes, I'll never get over it. I'm the most jealous of that woman who can see different shades of purple.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Aren't you glad that you don't have the equivalent in a smell form?
Nope. Yes, I am very glad. I have a friend, shout out to Tana, who can smell so well.
She's like a bloodhound.
And as a result, she doesn't like foods like only very specific wines she likes. She doesn't like foods that are really intense flavored. She had to kind of like work up to it. Like, I hope she doesn't mind them talking about her.
Maybe, do you think she has intense pleasure with certain other smells though? Like even more enjoyable, like a freshly baked cookie or something?
Maybe.
That would be nice.
Because we'd be like, I can't even smell that. She's like, I can smell that. She could smell stuff like. And I think it becomes too intense. You almost have to like dull the things that you eat. I'm like the opposite end where I'm like, give me everything. I want it to like burn my mouth and I want to be sneezing from it.
That's so interesting, Sarah. I'm so glad you shared that. Where did you find that article?
Old People Smell was on Scientific American, I believe.
I truly thought you were just saying the name of the, the media when you said old people. I thought it was like Old People Monthly or whatever. When you started to answer.
What if I did? Oh, what if
Scientific American. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. It was, where was it? Scientific American.
That was great. Because was the title like, do old people smell?
Sense and Science.
Oh, that's a more sensitive title.
And then it said, old person smell is real, but it's not necessarily offensive. A new study confirms that people like animals easily recognize a unique but not unpleasant ode de elderly.
I'm sorry, but if you asked, before you shared this data, if you asked people...
Correct.
Maybe it is true because they did a blind test, so people didn't know what they were smelling. So maybe what it is we smell it, and then we look at these disgusting old people, and it seems worse.
Susie, this was also... subtly mentioned in the article. I can't remember where, but it said that there's it seems we might have more of a ageism. Psychological association with, Ew, and also, I did you a favor by calling it omega-3 fatty acids because in the article they refer to it as sebaceous glands that secrete a waxy substance called sebum and lubricate and waterproof the skin.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So I scienced it up for you. You're welcome.
Well, this is going to be a much more pleasant scientific discussion and is great for all ages and can tell you a lot about your body, and that is Everlywell.
Oh, this is great.
Yes.
Because this can tell you a lot of those kind of things. In fact, one of the things that I'm going to talk about next.
Okay, this is great. This will be a great segue because Everlywell allows you to do at-home lab tests and find out more about your body, whether you have food sensitivities or if you want to know about women's health and your metabolism. And it's so helpful and fascinating just to see what is going on in your body. And I love that it's so simple to collect the sample and send it off, and then you get your results back very quickly. They're physician reviewed, and then they send them to your phone or your device in just a few days. And for our listeners, Everlywell is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/braincandy. That's everlywell.com/braincandy for 20% off your next at-home lab test, everlywell.com/braincandy. I know a lot of brainiacs have had great luck learning about their food sensitivities, and it's so fascinating to hear what your body's reacted to.
Those people that I was talking about were called ultra-Darwinists.
You mean they believe in this sort of severe... Okay.
They attribute every biological phenomenon to natural or sexual selection.
It's sort of like those people that think Freud knew everything about human motivation, and they that's all they think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they think there's some evolutionary advantage for maybe signaling hey, we're old.
I know, they don't know what a lot of those signals.
Yeah, right? Like the wrinkles and age spots weren't enough.
Right. Thanks for nothing, Mother Nature.
Yeah, I got to smell funky.
Right.
Maybe it's you know how food starts to kind of smell funky as it reaches its expiration date?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the human body that's
Yeah. The closer you get to death, the more you start to smell like it. And look like it.
I should have looked this up because this would have been interesting information to talk about afterwards, or in line with this. I definitely smell different the week of my period.
You always say that. Which,
it's terrible.
It's actually true, but I thought that those kind of pheromone things were supposed to be, subliminal. I didn't realize you could actually tell.
I can smell. I want to know what they are. I'm going to have to Google that too. What is that smell?
Well, isn't it
and is this a thing? Maybe I'll do a little poll. Do you feel like your smell changes?
I think a lot of people
cycle?
do think that.
I need to know. I like knowing when I'm not alone.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people
or we do these polls and then I go, what?
Yeah, they're like, you are alone.
Yeah. Wait a sec.
Well, it's definitely true that, not to be what do you call them? A Darwin ultra marathon or whatever. But how, your body secretes differently depending on your ovulation. So, it makes sense that your smell would vary.
Yeah. But then it makes me, so if we think about that, then my pheromones would be good when I'm ovulating because I'm attracting a mate. But that is not when I am stinky. I am stinky the week right before my period, which is the time where I definitely can't get pregnant, which is basically my body trying to repel people away from me.
am not 100% on this, but I think that's actually said to be the case universally. And I remember reading an explanation and thinking like, that is not intuitive. Because I thought what you thought, that when you're ovulating, you'd want as many mates as possible.
Oh, it's the opposite.
Yeah, it's like what you're describing, where it's like reversed. This could be on the spinoff, Things We Got Wrong, but that rings a bell.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can imagine. So, turns out we don't know anything about
maybe
human
our
pheromones or ball size, like semen.
Yeah,
I need to look both of those things up.
Yeah, I don't want to, really.
Yeah, multiple people wrote me and said that was so funny.
Why? Why? Because we didn't know.
We didn't know anything about it, but, like, that's fine. I'm not learning. That's horrible. I'm making a joke. It's a joke. I'll learn. Okay, so this is the article that I was going to talk to you about that I said is linked to our Everly Well test. One of the tests that you can order on Everly Well is a drug test. And there is...
What kind of drug test?
They test for anything, like at-home drug tests. That's to make sure... Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at me.
They have like a whole bunch. They have I'm pretty sure they do. They have don't they?
I hope so.
At-home STD tests, at-home
probably.
I think they do.
I love it.
Well, if they don't, then they should. Because I don't know. Maybe you need to do that someday. But maybe something would fail a drug test if they took it, and that would be the eels and sea creatures in the rivers, lakes, and streams in England around music festivals.
Oh, man. Wow.
Susie.
They're high as kites.
High as fucking kites. Concert goers have been, because all these musical festivals will take place, out in the countryside.
Yeah, right.
And then people are just peeing into the river, peeing into even just the ground, around, and there's so many drugs in their system.
Yeah. That
the local rivers are totally contaminated with what they called environmentally damaging levels of MDMA and cocaine. In fact, the cocaine levels were high enough that it impacted the population of European eels in the local areas because, and it's a species that's already critically endangered at high risk of extinction. So, no, the animals don't get high, but what does happen is it prevents them from, it causes muscle damage, and then it prevents them from reaching a certain age in the maturation cycle, so they can't sexually reproduce, and it's messing with the whole...
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious. That the drugs in people's systems that they're peeing into the streams are putting the local, environment at critical risk.
That is amazing.
We're going to make a certain kind of European eel extinct because it's fucking high on cocaine.
Wow.
And it doesn't even get to enjoy the buzz.
So how do they know they don't get a buzz, do you think?
Oh, very good question. Oh, I would imagine that you'd need the kind of receptors in the brain that...
activate or whatever.
Well,
that is a bummer then. Although I read something similar about not just at festival areas, but just globally that, antidepressant consumption then goes into the sewage, and then it's like an endocrine disruptor or something where... Yes, that's what this one is.
Yeah.
They say
it's disruption of their endocrine system, which causes delays in sexual maturation and is linked to infertility.
Right, because then... we don't eat eel usually, but sometimes people do. But you eat fish then that have this stuff, then it messes up humans again. And then you need more antidepressants to deal with it. Right?
Oh, my gosh.
It's a vicious cycle. We're all going to die. Everything's terrible.
It really is. I read an article that said people were starting to really question the chemicals and those kind of things in the water because if you look at dogs, we have higher rates of infertility in dogs as compared to Europe.
A lot of that comes from plastics and things in our food that they regulate in Europe.
Yep.
We are really screwing things up.
Wow. Downer. Remember when you did that episode and I was like, Susie, why is this the saddest episode? Well, turns out I am bringing the same kind of joy and laughter
Sarah
over here on the old Brain Candy podcast.
We could really use some MDMA or MA or cocaine right now to help us
Susie
deal
knows
with this.
3 out of 4 of those letters. You
Didn't
said correctly.
I fixed it though, right? MDMA.
Yeah. Oh, got it.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Like this is why this is.
I can't believe anyone truly. I know this sounds so naive, but I just can't believe people do drugs.
Well, certain ones I can't believe. Psychedelics I totally get, and I didn't get until I was older. But like cocaine, who wants to stay up all night and talk more?
Oh my god!
People?
Oh my god! Imagine you on cocaine.
Imagine me. That's why I was like, nope, not for me. Definitely not.
Yeah,
because I already am like that.
That's why Kathy Griffin says she doesn't drink alcohol.
I wonder if it made me tired.
Oh, would it? You think it'd have a reverse?
I can't. Yeah, I only did it a couple times. I can't really remember.
I can't believe you did cocaine.
I did. Well, I was with somebody who did it, and so I was very easily influenced.
I mean, how come you weren't worried about ODing?
Look, I regret it. Well, because I wasn't taking any kind of amounts that anyone would.
This is also a stupid question. Did you snort it? Is that the only way you can do it?
Yes, and yet I don't know.
You snorted it in your nose.
I did.
This is amazing.
Look, I have regrets.
I'm not judging. I just cannot believe. I would never want to have to go to the.
It was awful.
Oh, snorting it or
everything? Yes, all of it.
How long did it last? Your high?
I don't even know. Like a couple hours, 4 hours,
4 hours,
6 hours. I don't know.
Were you
something
out in
like
public?
Yeah, it was like dancing, like at a club.
I know that I'm weird.
In
by the way,
fucking England.
Oh, was it kind of fun?
Was it in England? It was.
You don't even know what country you were in.
Yeah, it's traveling. It's like just.
Yeah, you were like out of this world,
traveling.
Baby.
Yeah.
Good grief.
I was. This was this.
But
God,
for real,
now it's like.
How come you aren't worried about like what if this is laced with whatever?
Because when you are the age I was, you do dumb things and you don't know. And now I would never in a million fucking years. Mm-hmm. Never. Especially with all that shit floating around. I mean, come on. There's drugs in the children's candy bars.
That is a lie. Stop doing that.
I know.
What is this, the local news?
I was making a joke.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad you didn't die and everything. And I know that I'm weird.
I'm glad, too. Drugs are bad. Nobody should ever do it, especially that. Like, and then, you know what it was? And also when I took my first drug, like, psychology of drugs class and, like, the effects of drugs on your brain.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope.
It's scary as heck.
No, never doing that again. That basically puts holes in your brain. Wouldn't want to do that.
Honest to God, I would be fine. Like cheese fries, I swear I get high off of like stuff like that.
You do?
Yeah.
It's better.
It's delicious.
Way better. Yeah. And there was another... I was thinking about you the other day because I was doing something and I was like, oh, I think this is like a high. Like this is like a natural high. And I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I was getting a massage. I was getting a massage. And after the massage, that feeling you get, I was like, that feels like ecstasy. That like being on drugs. I'm like, oh, my eyes are all rolling back in my head.
It's probably similar to that thing you get at bedtime. Like euphoric kind of. And relaxed.
Some little like boost of something.
I'll tell you what gives me a big boost. And that is when I see a KiwiCo box in the mail delivered to my house. I adore these boxes. They are so great. What? Say it.
This is just, I'm just thinking about what happens when, what's happened here, the weather has taken a big change.
Yes.
Which means kids come inside.
Yes, they do.
Which means they need activities.
Yes, and it is time for you to check out KiwiCo. They have age-appropriate and seriously fun boxes for every age. It's such a great holiday gift. It keeps kids excited. And it gives them, like Sarah said, it teaches them STEM and actually, is about learning, but they don't even know it because they're having so much fun. Yes. Every box has new projects for each month. You can do all kinds of like scientific type stuff. I have to see what our next one is. We haven't opened it because I keep
Ooh.
we like schedule it. I'll be like, on Saturday we're going to do. So I don't know. I'll have to show you guys when we finally complete our box this month. Give awesome this holiday season with KiwiCo. Get your first month of any crate line for free. Wow. That is crazy. Get your first month of any crate line free at kiwico.com/braincandy. That's your first month free at kiwico.com/braincandy. I was so shocked at the generous offer. Who is not going to do that?
Right. Usually I just get all excited about 25% discounts.
I know. This is awesome.
They're like, no, we got you free.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
What else do I want to talk to you about today?
Yeah. Those were great stories, though, Sarah. You're on a roll.
Thank you.
Don't fuck it up.
I know. I was like, what else? I know there was one that I was going to talk to you about. Have we talked about we recently discussed the people's bodies that you, like when people who have tattoos die.
Oh, yeah.
And they cut the skin off.
Yes, they do.
Oh, and then my friend Allie sent me that link again, and she was like, you guys should definitely talk about this. And I was like, yep. And we decided, she and I were talking about what size we think would be like the limit. And we said nothing bigger than a postcard.
Oh, my God. That's
like anything bigger than a postcard looks kind of gross.
That's where you draw the line.
Yeah. But have we talked about how you can get the ashes of loved ones put into tattoo ink?
Yeah, because my brother did that.
What?
Yes.
I don't even remember this.
Yeah, his wife passed away recently, and
what? We talked about this freaking recently?
Well, I mean, she died like a year ago, so sometime in the last year. And so he got, her favorite flower was a sunflower. So he got a sunflower tattoo made with some of her ashes. And I had never heard of that. I mean, that is really wild to me. But not every tattoo place does it. I guess maybe you have to find one that does that.
Yeah, you have to find one that, but when I looked this up, because, it came up in that, along with that article, and there aren't just a few places that do this. There are a ton of
maybe it's getting really popular
that do this. And so it's the process of making the ink safe enough to put into the human body. So, which really all you're doing is putting like human body into human body. So like
yeah, right. Well, right. I don't know. They probably use such a small amount. I don't know how much they use. I wonder what the limit is. Maybe it's a dilution thing where you can have this much per this much ink or something.
Yeah, and it just seems almost like it's like carbon or, like what, I don't know, tattoos, it's like black. And do you remember when, were you like that age where you'd burn a cork and use that as eyeliner?
No, I've never heard of that.
What?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I would use like.
Why?
I don't know. It like worked really well.
Eyeliner works well too. Why didn't you use that?
Because this was like before the age where like your parents will allow you to go out and buy it. So you just do it so you can like get the smoky goth eye look. What?
Right.
Just me?
No, I bet it's not just you. You're a rebel, like doing cocaine and cork in your eyes.
Yeah. To answer your question of how much goes into the...
Yes.
I looked it up. Typically less than a tablespoon of ash goes into each vial.
That sounds like a lot, actually.
It does sound like a lot. I imagine the vials are probably like... And also the word vial.
Yeah. When you first heard about it, were you kind of like, this is creepy? Or it's hard. I never know how you're going to react because sometimes you love creepy stuff.
I do love creepy stuff. Nobody loves creepy stuff more than me. And this one I'm into because, like, I feel like it's just, I don't know, like natural in a weird way. I don't know why. Like more natural than the actual ink itself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good point. It kind of is.
It kind of is, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's not, like the I wonder what I said before when we talked about this, if my mind has changed. No. Maybe what changed my mind, too, is seeing it after the skin suit hung up on the frickin' wall.
Yeah, I hate that. I'm not into that. I'm actually surprised you're not more into that because you love, like, weird, like,
I liked the idea of it, and I like the old school, like, I liked the ones that were, like, when they looked old, like, mummified, but when it was... the newer
fresh
skin that looked like, I was like, oh, God, this is an actual...
human pelt.
Yes. This is serial killer shit.
Yeah, right.
It's like all too much. It's all too much. I've been watching a lot of horror stuff right now. It's too much. I need to take a break.
Overload. You know how, though, when they frame it, obviously it's not like a perfect rectangle, so it's like all jaggedy edges.
That's the spot that creeps me out.
It's too much.
If they framed it better. If they
maybe if they cut it into a shape instead of
mat it.
Just a little shadow box.
Yeah. What if you go to the frame store? Just go to Michael's. You bring the skin in.
Who's framing these?
Who's framing?
Is there like a company?
That should be included.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is included.
Because it feels like...
Yeah. What are you going to do? Get it in like a scroll form in the mail?
What are you gonna go to the local skin frame store?
Oh my God. Can you imagine if you went to Michael's and we're like, hey, I don't need a custom framing.
You just roll it out. Like...
It's my husband's back.
Oh, gross.
So bad.
Oh, God. It's really disgusting.
But you're the one that said up into the size of a postcard would be acceptable.
Yeah, like a little one. I don't know. I didn't say... yeah, and now it's the freshness of it that freaks me out.
Yeah.
Unless, we're, actually doing Halloween decorations, in which case...
I mean, I've always been a fan of just take a picture of it and then... frame the picture. How about that idea?
Yeah.
Why do I need someone's skin in my house?
Yeah. Oh,
imagine what that smells like.
Oh God, skin does protein.
Lipid.
Even my hair. I use a hair protein that is very good. I sent it to you.
I know. I have questions about that.
It's so good. You have to watch the YouTube video so you know how to do it. And it smells. Because it's protein.
Shut up. Like what? It dries, fish or something?
No,
tofu?
more like what... You know, if you were to keep a protein shake in your car for a day, and then you opened it and smelled it,
and you put that on your head.
Well, it smells like that when it dries, when it activates.
Oh my God.
It's fine. It's fine. Just like a little smell, not as nearly as bad as old people smell.
Okay, well that's good.
Yes. Speaking of spooky things, did you see me and Eli's super awesome, amazing ghost photo shoot?
It's the best ever.
It's the best.
Wait,
can you believe it?
So you on the same day you did the ghost bicycle one,
yes,
and also the pumpkin head,
correct
scenario.
Yes.
Okay. I loved all of it so much. Mainly, I loved Eli's. Just agreeableness.
Oh my God, he's the best. He's like, okay, what about these trees? Oh, how about right in here? He took me to a special spot. He looked up the weather. It's the best. He totally encourages it.
How long would you say this whole thing took? This whole photo shoot?
Oh, an hour.
Oh, okay. Wow,
tops.
You guys are fast.
2 locations. Then we found a trip because then we just started getting creative and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so. We have ideas for next year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, multiple pumpkins are getting carved. He was into the whole, every step he was supportive. When I told him, I'm like, I want to do a giant pumpkin head thing. He's like, okay, let's do this. He went out and got me pumpkin carving tools and got me the good kind. They're metal, not going to break.
Yeah.
They've been through the dishwasher and they're still good.
Nice.
Those kind. They came in a pouch.
Those are heirlooms now.
They totally are. And then he had me put the pumpkin head on and he did all the proportions of everything right so I can get everything. He set it up.
Yeah, he's very artsy.
Best. Yes.
He reminds me of Adams, truly. They have the same temperament, I feel like.
It's great. He's my set designer. And I told him, we're one-stop shop. What do you want? You want the art direction? We got it. You want set design?
Do you guys
You want wardrobe? We got it.
You'll do other holidays or only Halloween for photo shoots?
Well, now I think we should do other holidays.
That's what I think.
Said that.
Especially Valentine's Day.
Yeah, he'll dress up as a cherub.
Yeah, baby
Cupid.
Yeah, Cupid. That's the guy. And then, oh yeah, baby New Year. That got me. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, and I'll be the old guy.
Father Time.
Yeah.
The old guy. That's hilarious. That old guy.
That old guy.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah.
This is going to be
best.
great.
The best is like we both are okay with being embarrassed in public. I mean, we found a place that was like secluded enough, but then we wanted to get cool biking photos of like the ghost like biking. I thought that would be hilarious if
and it is.
He was right. And it is. Turns out it is. Everything we wanted and more. And then people came down the trail as we were, because like Eli's like, what? We got to find like a single track trail for like these photos and like set it all up. You know the lantern that you got me?
Yeah.
We used that as a prop in the background
awesome.
too. He was like super into it.
How come you're not embarrassed in public? Because I suffer from that problem.
I mean, I am a little bit, but I feel like the things that I'm doing are more fun and silly than trying to
not
be
cringe.
so cool. Like they're not correct. I mean, like there was a cute covered bridge right by where we went and had lunch. Like we did our little photo shoot. I mean, it was beautiful. We went on this drive, like the leaves are changing colors. We went on like a gorgeous drive, just like an hour away from the house, and like go up in the mountains, did a little off-roading, and like find a little perfect spot for our photo shoot, have a good laugh, like a laugh. Because when those people came down the trail,
oh my God.
and I like they're like mountain bikers or like legit mountain bikers coming down the trail, as I'm like taking photos of Eli in a ghost sheet costume on a bike. Then the one guy comes down the trail and he goes, "Ooh, spooky," and I was like, of all the things he could say, it was the best. I was like, did you mean spooky?
Yeah, you're like, you almost had it.
Almost had it, you know. You're probably out of breath from bike riding, so I'll let you.
Yeah, so the fact that it's clearly goofy and not serious.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
In the little town that we were having lunch in, there was a covered bridge. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wouldn't that be cute if I like put the pumpkin head on and then I could like sit like I'm staring out, like, you know, just because it's funny. And
so funny.
You know, we were just like having lunch and I'm like, forget it. But I, at that point, after already putting the pumpkin on my head and posing for a few photos, was ready to do it in public and didn't mind. Because like, but if I were somebody who was like doing a TikTok dance in a bikini at the beach or like at the hotel pool while there are like kids playing in the pool, fucking kill me.
Yes. Okay. We're on the same page about that.
Like cute pumpkin head, funny ghost biking photos.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Posing like if I got dressed up looking like I was like a Colorado chic, like you know, didn't hike but like bought the outfit for the picture and then went home, kill me.
Is Colorado chic like those like puffer vests?
Yeah, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. What does Eli call it? He calls it Patagucci.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right.
Wow.
Except those guys are great because they donated 100% of the profits of the company.
Listen to me. That was amazing. Patagonia.
That was absolutely amazing.
We salute you.
I totally was like, before was like, this is ridiculous price to spend, even though I will say their down jackets have kept me the warmest of anyone.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I don't mind. Go ahead, take my money.
It's high quality
totally
and then ethical.
It's so ethical, and I hope so many other companies follow suit.
Yeah,
and him and the North Face guy are like buddies who like both started that and like used all their money to like actually save Patagonia and like Chile and Argentina and all those great places.
Yeah, more of that, billionaires, you fuckers.
Yeah, please. I really hope that does catch on and start to
It won't, but it's awesome when it happens. It won't. Because usually the type of person that becomes a billionaire becomes that way because they're sociopathic. It's just true. Mm-hmm. Show me, like I remember hearing in a documentary, show me a billionaire and I'll show you a crime. Because it's almost impossible to become that rich without breaking a lot of laws.
100%.
Except Oprah.
Well, yeah. God bless Oprah.
God bless.
Yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions, but most of the time, something shitty happened.
Yeah. Okay.
That
what
was
else do I have
great.
to talk about?
I mean, you could just stop if you wanted, because that was like, all those were my favorites.
Okay.
No, you don't have to stop. Go ahead.
I have one more I want to share with you.
Okay.
Because I felt like this fits into our theme of like the smell stuff. Because this was another article that I found right in line with that. So this is brand new. Breaking news. Breaking news. We now are closer to understanding why some people get bitten by mosquitoes and some people don't.
Let's hear it.
And it's not, people are going to say like, oh yeah, it's the blood type and da-da-da. Yes, but then something else.
There is something
Turns
about
out,
young people, right?
Well, it has to do, again, with the human skin odor.
And they don't want to get near that disgusting old
and
person
a blend
smell.
of compounds that, like, there's a specific kind of, I think they called it something like an acid complex that is like, yeah, it's 3 levels of I should really learn how to pronounce these words before I come on here. Carboxylic acids. I'm not even going to try to pronounce
carboxylic.
these.
I don't know.
That one.
I don't
Probably
know.
that.
I don't know.
Carboxylic.
Oh, wow. No wonder you had trouble.
Xylic.
You're too hard on yourself over there.
I know. There are too many vowels they're throwing in here. You know?
We've always been very critical of scientists naming things like that. Call it like butter. You know what I mean? Like, give it a name.
Susie, that'd be great for that fatty acid compound. This is flesh butter. And when flesh butter reacts with the air, it smells like old people.
Flesh butter. And people would remember it better.
100% never forgetting flesh butter.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So,
That's so stupid.
Mosquitoes are attracted to people who have this certain kind of these higher levels of these 3 different kinds of acids.
Okay.
And then they have 10 other unidentified compounds that are in the same chemical class. Okay, that was a direct quote. The article did not expand on what 10 other unidentified compounds are. How are we still finding unidentified compounds on our own skin? You've had this to study since the start of studying things.
Right, guys.
And you're just now discovering, like, oh, also there are these things still unidentified, 10 of them, that if you have this kind of acid complex on your skin, you are far more likely to get bitten by mosquitoes.
So it's just sort of a genetic thing.
Yes, and they said the only way that we can, it's genetic, but also it could be combined with your environment as well. And like your human biome. Susie looks like she's looking for a mosquito.
I'm so sorry.
Right now.
It's hailing.
Whoa!
Yeah, and that's such a weird thing to see, like the little balls, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fun. Wow, totally different weather out here.
Yeah.
It is like...
I'll trade you.
I don't know. I'm ready to mix it up a little bit. So one of the things that makes this interesting is because we can't really test this for sure to know if this is alone what does it, because you can't take all of it off of the human body.
Yeah, you can't get a control
test
group.
somebody without it. And they said that there is something that they are finding to predict more mosquito bites, but there's not a single compound that lessens the amount of mosquito bites you get. So basically, things will work as an attractant for mosquitoes, but nothing works as a repellent.
Whoa.
And then there was one other piece of information that I thought, oh, this is crazy. Okay, so you know how, this is, if you get malaria, so we think about like malaria comes from mosquitoes.
Oh, yeah.
And we think about like what the hell could be the benefit of that? Well, the benefit is to mosquitoes. If you are infected with malaria, it causes an uptick in the similar compounds in your body, and it increases your attractiveness to mosquitoes. So if you contract malaria, you then become more of a magnet to mosquitoes. So mosquitoes have an incentive for infecting you with malaria because it makes you basically like a glow stick for like the,
it'd be like if you got an STD and then everyone wanted to fuck you.
Yes. Susie, that is 100% the perfect analogy for this.
That's terrible.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Oh my God.
But then like if somehow, I guess, yes, that spreads the species. Yes, that is exactly, and that is a good metaphor. That does work.
It bums me out that there's nothing that can happen that will lessen your attractiveness to
Not a single thing in the research that was like, oh yeah, this compound of people repel mosquitoes. Because if that were the case, then they could take that, isolate it and create a natural mosquito repellent that's not that disgusting chemical stuff, which is the whole point of this. They're looking for what is it that we can do to repel mosquitoes so that people don't get malaria, so that this doesn't happen, so we don't spread disease, blah, 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 blah.
Am I wrong?
They can't find any of them.
Did I remember this incorrectly? Is there a certain type of person that gets bit by a mosquito but doesn't have the allergic reaction to them?
Ooh, excellent question. I am not sure. I did not see that in here.
Because
that's a very good question.
I thought that was true. Maybe not. And isn't it only the females that bite? They're the problem, ladies. Lady skeeters.
Oh. The attraction preferences of disease-vectoring mosquitoes have important public health implications, since it's estimated that, okay, blah, 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 we already know that. Understanding what makes someone a mosquito magnet will help with interventions, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Doesn't say anything about...
I always do this to you. I'm like, I quiz you like you're the person that did this study, but it's just because I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah. It said there didn't seem to be a pattern of human skin odor that was unattractive to mosquitoes in the group. This would indicate that a person can have mosquito attractants, increasing their risk of getting bitten, but there doesn't seem to be any mosquito repellents that could help keep a person bite-free.
Besides, oldness.
What if?
Because, well, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Wonder. Now I want to know.
Well, I think
what if you combined these two studies?
I do. No, I really do believe that young people are more prone to being.
Because okay. Suze, there's even some information there, because if that change, that fatty acid that you secreted when you were older, created the change in smell that then made it so you weren't as attracted to mosquitoes, then you lessen your likelihood of contracting a disease that your body would have a harder time fighting off, because your immune system is broken down because you're old.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So maybe that old disgusting greasy smell is doing you some favors after all.
Who knows? Maybe. I'm just saying, it's theory.
I love this
little hypothesis we got.
I love
just
that.
Going.
All right. Keep up the good work, you and science.
Right. Science.
So we'll wind it down, I guess. I mean, that was one of the best ever. Sarah did such a good job.
Yeah, I talked about a bunch of shit.
You did. And they were all
too much.
Amazing.
Eels are on drugs.
Eels are on drugs. Old
but
people
it's not
are
their fault.
And
Sarah was on drugs, but not anymore.
Sarah totally did cocaine.
Oh, gosh.
And used a cork for eyeliner because it, quote, works good.
God, everything is wrong with this episode.
And I, as usual, just wanted to say thank you to everyone who checks out our merch and makes a purchase. We're going to be adding some really fun stuff, like a puzzle, brain candy puzzle, pretty soon.
It's so
I can't wait till that's up.
Oh, that is the perfect Christmas gift for the Brain Candy Brainiac.
Good point. I hope that gets put in there real soon so people can order in time for the holidays.
Yes.
And thank you to all of our patrons on patreon.com/braincandy and just everyone in our book club and doc club and blah, blah, blah.
We love you.
We love you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.